Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, so today is lecture 7. So let me recall what we did in the last class. We introduced what is the basis for a vector space. So a basis is any set V is called a basis of a vector space V if it spans the vector space and it is a linearly independent set. So any subset of a vector space which satisfies these two conditions is a basis. Then we proved a very important result that says that if we have a vector space and if suppose we have a linearly independent set, let's say L, and we have a spanning set, let's say S, that contains the linearly independent set L. So that means L is subset S, L is a subset of S. Then there is a basis of V that contains the linearly independent set and contained in the spanning set S. Okay. So now using this is a very important result. We used John's lemma to prove this, and then using this result, one can prove several corollaries, and or you can say many other important properties for a vector space. For example, you can say that every vector space has a basis. You can say that if we have a subspace, let's say W of a vector space, and if B tilde is a basis of W, then we can always find a basis, let's say B of V, such that B tilde is a subset of V. Then we prove that if uh, every basis is a minimal spanning set, or you can prove that a basis is a maximal linearly independent set. This is how we prove several other things as a corollary of this main result. Today we will define what is a dimension, what do we mean by dimension of a vector space, and then we will see some results for, let's say, finite dimension vector space or for infinite dimension vector space. So we'll see how to how a particular result is easy to prove, state and prove for finite dimension vector space, but the same thing is not that straightforward, or it may require other things for infinite dimension. Okay, all right. So let us start today's lecture with a result. We call it, let's say, linearly dependence lemma. So in some books it is called as linearly dependence lemma. So we also follow the same terminology. So let us start today's lecture with this result. So it is called, say, linearly dependence lemma. Okay. So what it is? So if suppose what it says, suppose that we have, let's say, a set of vectors v1, v2, and so on up to the vm in a vector space which is linearly dependent. So if suppose we have this set of vectors which is linearly dependent in a vector space, let's say v over f, and assume that the first vector v1 which is not equal to 0. So the first vector v1 is not equal to 0. Then this result says that then there exists an index, let's say j, in this set 1 to n, 1 to m, such that these two things are satisfied. First one is that this vj belong to the span of v1, v2 up to vj minus 1. And the second thing is that if if the jth term is removed from the set v1 to vm, then the span of the remaining set equals the span of the whole set. So that means I can write it in this way. Means span of this set v1 to vj minus 1. So this is the set without vj, without the term vj to vm. Span of this set is equal to the span of the whole set v1 up to vm. Now this proof is very straightforward. I'll just give you the outline and then you can complete the proof. So let me give you the outline of this. So can you tell me how to start, how to prove this one? So we are given a linearly independent set, a linearly dependent set V1 to Vm. Can you tell me how to start the proof? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
First we take Vj, which is an scalar multiple of any some vectors.
But how do you know that such a vector exists? We have to
Sir,
prove. So see, just a minute. We have to prove we are given just a linearly dependent set such that the first vector is not zero. This is the information we have. You have to show the existence of a j, this index j, such that this happens. So you are just given this set which is linearly dependent, and the other information is that the first vector is not zero.
uh, okay, sir. Then we take arbitrary element other than V1. Okay.
So
Uh, and then clearly the set is linearly dependent. Then
so
the linear combination of the vectors is going to be zero, where not all coefficients are zero. तो हम वहां से एक वेक्टर निकाल लेंगे वी जे या फिर वी आई जो भी, और उसको लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ अदर वेक्टर्स बता देंगे उसके अलावा.
So yeah, just let me write what you are saying. So let me write what you are saying. So you are saying that. So let me write it clearly, and then you tell me. So let me write. You are saying that since this set is linearly dependent, this implies that there exist alpha 1 to alpha m some scalars such that not all of them are zero, such that this linear combination is zero. This is what you are saying, right?
यस सर.
Right. Now what?
V1 को छोड़ के कोई सा अदर एलिमेंट ले लिया जाए.
So you are saying that now choose j in this, right?
यस सर. यस.
And so how to show that such a j exists?
सर बिकॉज द मतलब ये सारे अल्फा जीरो नहीं है. सो जो अल्फा जीरो नहीं, जो अल्फा आई जीरो नहीं होगा वो वाला जे ले लेंगे अपन, तो वो एग्जिस्ट कर जाएगा. मतलब
But how do you know that such a j exists from 2 to m?
ओके, बिकॉज मतलब कि जो v1 है वो नॉट इक्वल्स टू जीरो है.
So
सो इन केस ऑफ all the vectors are zero,
not vectors, all these you want to say
all the
something
scalar
about
uh,
all the scalars.
all the scalars are zero. So अगर जैसे कि हमारे पास सिर्फ दो ही वेक्टर बचे हैं, जैसे कि अल्फा वन वी वन एंड अल्फा जे वी जे. ओके.
But
सो
what is that
अपन
j? That's what I'm saying.
ऐसा आई टोल्ड एनी आर्बिटरी. ओके, लेट्स सपोज एनी आर्बिटरी और ऑल द अदर, मतलब कि सारे एलिमेंट्स मान लो जीरो होगा, मतलब सारे स्केलर्स जीरो हो गए अपार्ट, मतलब कि सिर्फ जे अल्फा जे को छोड़ के. और
But
अल्फा जे
how do you
नीचे.
know कि वो alpha j non-zero होगा? How do you know that? So you are not saying it clearly.
चल अल्फा वन वी वन को एक साइड ले लेते हैं, बाकी सबको एक साइड.
फिर
Sir,
फिर
sir, it will be because of since it's a linearly dependent set.
so
So it will means it will.
your voice is not clear. Your voice is not clear.
So we can write all the vectors in the combination of scalars and
See, first read what you want to prove. You are trying to prove that there exists a index j in 1 to m such that vj can be written as a scalar multiple of others. Now what is given that this set is linearly dependent. So using the definition, you know that there exists for some combination, this linear combination is 0, where not all the scalars are 0. At least one of them is non-zero, but you don't know which one is non-zero. So now what I'm saying, what I'm writing, you see whether that is possible or not. Now choose. What I'm saying is the following. You tell me why this is possible. Now choose the largest j in 2 to m such that alpha j is not equal to 0. Now why such a j exists in 2 to m such that this alpha j is not equal to 0? Because if suppose, yes,
So because we have given that the
ये
set
करें
is
तो
linearly
फिर
dependent.
v1 0 हो जाएगा और वो 0 गिवन नहीं है.
right, because because from this equation here from star, if all of them are 0, if suppose there is no j exist from 2 to m such that alpha j is not equal to 0, that means all of them are 0 here. From alpha 2 to alpha m all are 0. So from this star, this implies that alpha 1 v1 is 0. But since v1 is not 0, this implies alpha 1 is 0. That means all these scalars are 0, but we are starting with these scalars where not all of them are 0. So there exists such a j such that this alpha j is not equal to 0. So I'm choosing the largest one, largest among all such j. So I'm choosing the largest j such that this is not 0. Why I'm choosing the largest? Because if you look at the what I'm trying to prove here, I'm trying to prove that there exists Vj which can be written as a linear combination of the preceding vectors v1 to vj minus 1. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm choosing the largest alpha j which is not equal to 0. Now what does this implies? This implies that alpha 1 v1 and so on up to alpha j vj equal to 0. Right? Now from here I can say that now it is very clear that vj can be written as minus alpha 1 v1 minus alpha 2 v2 and so on minus alpha j minus 1 vj minus 1, and I can divide with this scalar alpha j because I know that alpha j is not equal to 0. So from here you can say that vj is in the span of v1 to vj minus 1. So the first claim is done, is proved. Right? So there exists an index such that Vj can be written as a linear combination of the preceding vectors. Now the second thing that is also now very straightforward. Can you prove this second one, the second claim? Can you prove the second claim?
Yes sir, just vj की जगह पर vj वाला linear combination रख देना
Yes.
तो हो जाएगा.
You just write instead of wherever. So what you have to prove? So I'm giving you this as an exercise. So I know that you all of you have this idea how to prove, but when you write, then there is a possibility that you can make a mistake. So what you have to prove? You have to prove that these two things are same. These two are sets. So if you want to show that these two sets are equal, you have to show both side containment. So one side containment is very straightforward. This side. So you can easily show that this set is contained here in the right hand side. But now to show that the right hand side is also contained in the left hand side, what you have to show, you take a vector here v. Now since this v is a vector in this span of v1 to vm, then you write this v as a linear combination of v1 to vm. Then what you have to show that this v also belong to here. So for that, what you do, wherever the term vj is occurring in that linear combination, you replace this vj with this expression, because you know that vj can be written as a linear combination of v1 to vj minus 1. Then whatever you are left with is a linear combination of the vectors uh, except vj, and therefore these two sets are equal. Okay. So this is a very important result, because in when you see in the after 10 minutes, these results will be useful in proving several other things, or you can say small results for finite dimensional vector space. Okay. So let's move on with this result
sir-
now. Yeah.
सर जो आपने यहाँ पर लिया है, अगर हम लोग अल्फा 1 को 0 ले लें, बाकी सबको 0 ना लें, तो फिर ये तो होल्ड नहीं करेगा ना।
अल्फा 1 को
अगर हम लोग अल्फा 1 को 0 ना लें, बाकी सबको 0 ले लें, तो अल्फा 1 को 0 ले लें, बाकी सबको 0 ना लें, तो जो आपने केस बनाया है कि ये वीजे ऐसा एग्जिस्ट करेगा, वो तो फिर पॉसिबल नहीं होगा ना।
I did not get your point. So you are saying that this alpha 1, you want to write alpha 1 as 0? So it can be. What I'm saying is that there exists j in 2 to m. So what is the problem then? You tell me where is it's not following this?
तो सर v1 कैसे प्रूफ करें कि 0 हो जाएगा? अगर अल्फा 1 0 हो जाएगा तो अल्फा 1 v1 equals to 0, तो अल्फा 1
Wait. Alpha 1, I'm not saying alpha 1 cannot be 0. When did I say that alpha 1 cannot be 0? What I'm saying is that, you see here, I'm not doing anything. I'm just following the result. I'm following the definition. If it is linearly dependent, then there exist these scalars such that not all of them are 0, and this linear combination is 0. Now I'm saying that there exists a j from 2 to m such that alpha j is not equal to 0. There may be many such j's, but I'm choosing the one which is the largest index j in 2 to m such that alpha j is not 0. Why such a j exists? Because if suppose this is not the case, that means alpha j is 0 for all j from 2 to m. Then from this star what we have? Alpha 1 v1 is 0. But alpha 1 v1 equal to 0 means what? Since v1 is not 0, this is given. That means this implies alpha 1 is 0. But that means that all these scalars are 0. But we are saying that not all of them are 0 here. So this is a contradiction. So this implies that there exists at least one index j from 2 to m such that this alpha j is not equal to 0. And therefore I'm dividing only with that alpha j. This j is from 2 to m. So where is the question of being alpha 1 0 or not 0? Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So
हेलो
let
सर
me, yes.
सर सर यहाँ पे
Yes,
सर
yes.
यहाँ पे लार्जेस्ट
1 to m,
One by one, please.
सर
One by
2
one.
to m की जगह, सर 2 to m की जगह अगर 1 to m ले लेते तो?
नहीं, ये रिजल्ट में क्या प्रूव कर रहा हूँ? So what I'm trying to prove? I'm trying to prove that one vector can be written as a linear combination of preceding vectors, जो पहले वाले vectors हैं उनके. अगर मैं v1 करूंगा तो यहाँ पे तो v0 नहीं है ना. So if you look at this, the way I have written this, so it's just one way of writing the same result. You can say that if you have a set of vectors which is linearly dependent, there exists at least one vector that can be written as a linear combination of other vectors. In a general way, you can say in this way. But if I'm writing it in this way, in this ordering kind of thing, then you can say that this Vj can be written as a linear combination of preceding vectors. So why I'm saying that V1 is, why not V1? Because if I want to write the same result, then V1 is not, there is no vector. If I want to write the same result in the same way, then I cannot write V1 as a linear combination of preceding vector because there are no vectors. Is it okay now?
Yes sir, okay.
Okay.
सर अल्फा
Sir,
1 को नॉन जीरो प्रूफ करने की जरूरत-
alpha
अगर
1 को
v1 का
non
कोफिशिएंट 0
V1 का कोफिशिएंट 0 हो
तो जितने में से 20 के लिए अगर हम 0 डाल दें या
we don't care about alpha 1. Alpha 1 could be 0. You see where is it like giving us a problem in this result? Alpha 1. So if there is no role of alpha 1, then we don't care about alpha 1 here. You see in this result, it can be 0, it can be non-zero, but our result is not going to affect. Okay,
दिस इज द
so
ओनली वे ऑफ प्रूफ.
हेलो सर
ये सेट है और सेट में ऑर्डर मैटर नहीं करता है.
I'm writing it in this way. I'm giving you, let's say, v1 v2 this way. But if suppose you have a finite set of vectors, then in general you can say that there exists a vector that can be written as a linear combination of other vectors. But one has to prove this, right? So the nice way to prove this is to, let's say, okay, since there are only finitely many vectors, you say that okay, the first one is v1, second one is v2, and so on. This way you can prove it you can write it in a nice way and you can understand it. Okay. All right. So
सर यहाँ पे
let me.
लार्जेस्ट का क्या रोल है?
लार्जेस्ट रे का रोल बस यही है कि you can write, see this expression you can write here. Because I want to write the Vj as a linear combination of preceding vectors. If suppose I don't choose this as the largest, then there may be some other which are not zero here. Then I don't know which one to take left and then to write it in this way. The result in this, the same way I can say that okay, there exists a j. So so I can say that okay, there exists, if suppose I don't write this the largest, then I will say, suppose this time is not there, then I will say now choose j such that alpha j is not zero. Then I will write then what would be the equation? It would be like there would be some term alpha j plus 1 vj plus 1 and so on, right? Alpha j vj equal to 0, and then I can take this in this way and I can do the same thing. Then there would be alpha j plus 1 divided by alpha j vj plus 1 and so on, right? But then what I want to say that vj can be written as a linear combination of preceding vectors, because I want to prove this way, that vj
Okay,
is a
sir.
linear combination of v1 to vj. But if you want to say that vj is a linear combination of these vectors, the remaining vectors, that means vectors except vj, then in that case you can choose any j. It's okay.
Yes,
Okay, anyway, so let me remove this, whatever I did.
Sir,
All right.
and also we can say alpha 1 is dependent on alpha j, not arbitrary. Alpha
So
1
you
अपन
you
कुछ भी ऐसा
you
नहीं रख
explore
सकते.
this, you explore these questions and
Yes,
ask
sir.
yourself. Okay, so these are very straightforward things, so you please ask, otherwise I won't be able to cover other things. So this is a very basic result. This depends only on the definition, so try to see what is what are the other ways to write this. Okay, so let us move to the next result. So what I'm saying in the next result is the following. So let's say we have a set, let's say S, containing the vectors w1 to wn. Okay, such that span of S is equal to V. So that means if suppose we have a vector space V and there is a finite spanning set, let us call that the elements of this set as w1 to wn. Then any linearly independent set in V contains no more than n elements. Okay, now you give me some idea for this. So what is given? You are given a vector space V. You are given a finite set which is also a spanning set of V. Then you have to prove that any linearly independent set in V cannot have more than n elements. Now how to prove this one?
सर चूंकि
Sir,
बेसिक
with the help of basis.
So your voice is not clear, and please one by one, if you want to say something. Yeah, your voice is not clear.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Sir, with the help of basis, as we know, span is the smallest मतलब कि जो बेसिस होता है वो स्मॉलेस्ट स्पैनिंग सेट होता है और बेसिस होता है जो लार्जेस्ट एलआई सेट होता है. सो एनी एलआई सेट जो कि मतलब अब स्पैन और बेसिस और लिनियर इंडिपेंडेंट सेट और बेसिस को कंपेयर करेंगे तो स्पैन एटलीस्ट मतलब इस अगर स्पैन एस सेट एस अगर बेसिस बनेगा तो वो एन एलिमेंट कंटेन करेगा. और अगर मतलब उसका कोई भी एलआई मतलब उस अगर अब वो बेसिस बन गया तो वो एलआई सेट है तो मतलब उससे ज्यादा एलिमेंट अगर n+1 अगर एलिमेंट कंटेंट करेगा तो वो एलडी हो जाएगा. तो
So if suppose I want to prove this result, then I would if I'm you, if I were you, then how would I do? I would do it. I would take a linear a set, let's say u1 to um. This is the correct way. You tell me whether this is the correct way or not. What I have to prove? I have to prove that any linearly independent set I take, then it cannot have more than n elements. So let's say u1 to um. This is a linearly independent set in V. Now,
Yes,
what is
sir.
my claim? My claim is to show that m is less than equal to n. If I can show that m is less than equal to n, then I'm done, because I have started with an arbitrary linear independence. So now you tell me that m is less
Yes.
than equal to n. Yes. With
Yes,
your
sir.
argument. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So
सर n को छोटा
Yes.
रखना पड़ेगा क्योंकि हमें मोर देन n क्लेम कर रही है ना.
No, what I have to show? I have to show that this any linearly independent set cannot have more than n elements.
Yes, sir.
So if I take, let's say, this linearly independent set, then I have to show that m is always less than equal to n.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir. We use last result. Li set is contained in basis and contained in spanning set. So any Li set is contained in basis and basis is contained in span set. So यहाँ से obvious हो जाता है कि m जो है वो less than n होगा.
So you are saying that if you take any linear independent set, let's say this is L, and since we are given a spanning set S, then there would be a basis B this way, right?
Yes, sir.
And since this is a subset, so the cardinality of L should always be less than equal to cardinality of S.
Yes, sir.
Right? This is the correct way.
Thank you, sir.
Exactly. So this implies that M is less than equal to. Right, good. So this is done. You see now, very straightforward. Now using this result, you can prove that now. So you can complete the proof. I'm just giving you the idea because these are straightforward statements. But I want you to realize that why this is happening. Sometimes we know that this is true, but we are not able to like clearly justify our argument. So use some result which we have already done in the class, and then you try to say it clearly. Okay, so let me write another result. These are all like following from that one main result. So let's say if we have a basis, if V has a basis consisting of a finite set of a finite, let's say finite number of elements, then every basis of V has the same number of elements. Okay. Now can you tell me this one quickly? So what is so whenever you are proving a result, you first write clearly what is given to you. So what is given? You are given a vector space V. This is given to you. Now you are given a basis V, which is, let's say, V1 to Vn, finite a basis containing only finitely many vectors. So let us call that this is a basis given to you. Now what you have to prove? You have to prove that every basis of V has exactly the same number of elements. That means if you take any b
Yes, sir.
dash of, let's say, w1 to wk,
W1. Okay.
so this is a basis. So first of all, you have to show that every basis is finite. That is very straightforward from the previous result.
Yes, sir.
Now you have to show that this b dash, if any other basis, so if suppose, so if this is a basis, then what is your claim? Then your claim is to show that k is
K
equal
equal to n.
n, right? Now, how to do this?
लेस देन इक्वल टू बताना रहेगा पहले k is less than n and n is less than k, मतलब लेस देन
Right.
इक्वल इस टाइप से.
Now why this is true?
Sir,
Sir,
because
because of maximality of linearly independent set is basis.
So
And sir, since b dash is going to be basis, then b dash is linearly independent set. And the max as we have proved that if v as a basis, then it has a finite number of element. It is given from the given condition, sir. Now since beta dash is beta dash is going to be basis, it implies it is going to be linearly independent set. And and from the given data we know that the maximal linearly independent set is going to be finite, so that beta dash is also going to be finite, and it will be equal. Yes, sir.
yes.
रिजल्ट को यूज करके दोनों बार एक बार बीटा और बीटा टेस्ट का रोल है रिवर्स कर दे हो जाएगा.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you, whatever you said is correct. See, what you have to do here, you both are basis, so both are linear independent sets. So there are many ways to prove this. So if you want, as you said, that you can use maximality of the the fact that basis is a maximal linear independent set, you can use this fact. If you want to use the previous result, you can use just the previous result, just whatever we have proved here. You can prove that also, and then you can prove this. So what you have to do here, if suppose now we are given b as a basis, and then b dash is also a basis, another basis. Now one you consider as a linearly independent set, other one you consider as a basis. Now we know that basis is a maximal linear independent set. So the cardinality of b should be cardinality of less than equal to cardinality of b dash. Similarly, you can prove the other way also. But what I would say that it is easier to justify, because here also it's like because we have not done this, that maximal linearly independent means the other whatever linearly independent set we have, that will have the less cardinality. This fact we have, although this is true, but we have not proved this. So what I'm saying is that if b dash is maximal linearly independent set and b is linearly independent set, then cardinality of b is less than equal to cardinality of b dash. This we have not proved. This you have to first say why this is true. Okay, if you are using that fact, then this is true, but you have to justify that, and then for using that you can use this, and therefore
Sir,
it is true. That, just a minute. And then in the next step, you just reverse the role of b and b dash, and you will get it. Other way,
So you are not audible.
You are not audible.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a power cut at my end. All right, so let me share my screen again. So can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying here, so that whatever argument you gave, that is correct. The only thing is that you have to justify this thing here. Just say something more, that why if B dash is a maximal linearly independent set and B is a linearly independent set, then why the cardinality of B is less than equal to cardinality of B dash. And the second idea is again very, so this is also true. This is also true. Just justify more this, why this is true. And the second idea is that you use the previous result. You know that B is a basis. So basis means it's a spanning set. It's a linearly independent set which also spans the space. So you suppose that you have you use B as a basis spanning set and B dash as a basis. Let me use a different color. So since B dash is a spanning set and B is a basis, so from the previous set, from the B dash is a spanning set, B is a linearly independent set. So from the previous result, this implies that cardinality of B dash is less than equal to cardinality of B dash. B is cardinality of cardinality of B is less than equal to cardinality of B dash. Similarly, in the next step, for the other way inequality, you assume that B is a basis and B dash is a linearly independent set. Now, since B is also spanning set, so from the previous result, this implies that cardinality of B dash is less than equal to cardinality of B. So this implies that B and B dash both have same number of elements. This way it is.
How second cardinality of B dash less than cardinality of B?
Because B dash is a basis, so this implies this is a linearly independent set. And B is also a basis, so you take this as a spanning set. So span of B is V because it's a spanning set. Now from the previous result, you say we can say that what we have proved. We have proved that every linearly independent set cannot have any linearly independent set cannot have more than n elements. What does it mean? This implies that the number of elements in B dash is less than equal to number of elements in. Anyway, so this way you can justify this. So you have to, if you want to write, if you are asked this kind of question in the exam, you have to write it properly. I'm just giving you the idea here. So you have to write it clearly and with all the justification. Now we know that if a vector space has a like a finite basis, that means a basis that contains only finitely many vectors, then every basis has a exactly the same number of elements. So this number is fixed for a vector space that has a finite basis. So we can give this number a name, and this number is called as the dimension of it. So what I'm saying here is, or what I'm defining next is the finite dimensional vector space, or the dimension of the vector space. So let us do it here.
Sir,
Yeah.
सर इससे above proof में जो हमने रिजल्ट यूज करा है उसके लिए तो L is contained in S given होना चाहिए ना, बट हम तो कोई भी आर्बिट्रेरी लीनियरली इंडिपेंडेंट सेट ले रहे हैं, तो वो उसमें कंटेन करे ये जरूरी थोड़ी है।
किसके लिए बोल रहे हो? So which one?
सर वाले प्रूफ में
Which proof? Which one? Which result?
इससे पहले जो किया था अभी। यस सर।
So here you are saying that this is L, and then this, right. So this, so okay, so then, yeah, right, that's a good point. So you have noticed a good point here, I missed that. So he's saying that you are taking this L as a linearly independent set. This is fine. S is a spanning set, this is also fine. But in the result, in that main result, we proved L should be contained in S, but here it is not given. It is not given. So what you have to do here, so this straightforwardly you cannot, ultimately this is true, but straightforwardly you cannot use this result, and you cannot say just because of that this is true. Okay, so yes, so that's a good observation here, so thank you, and I'm sorry for this, so I missed this point. So this L has to be contained in the set S. So what would be the other argument then? Can you give me some idea then how to prove? So whatever argument you gave, and then I said, okay, this is true, that is not true. Just because some of you noticed that L has to be contained in S, and I missed that. Now, what would be the other way to prove this?
Sir, basis should be maximum Li set.
So
तो सर कोई भी Li set होगा उसकी कार्डिनलिटी बेसिस से तो कम ही होगी ना.
basis से max, हाँ, so
हाँ, तो अगर जो बेसिस है वो स्पेनिंग सेट में कंटेन करेगा क्योंकि स्पेन ऑफ एस इज इक्वल टू ई है, तो एस में कोई Li सेट होगा जो बेसिस होगा.
no, contain करेगा exactly, how do you know that?
मतलब एस में कोई बेसिस होगा ना, क्योंकि जो एस है वो स्पेनिंग सेट है,
So
तो एस में एक बेसिस होगा.
सर क्योंकि
S में
एस
एक
स्पेनिंग
basis
सेट
होगा
है
मतलब,
सर, इसमें एस इज ए स्पेनिंग सेट, तो इसमें कुछ ना एलिमेंट तो ऐसे होंगे ना जो नॉन जीरो होंगे, तो उनका कोई ना कोई ऐसा सबसेट मिलेगा कि जो एल होगा, तो ये स्पेनिंग सेट भी है और एल भी है, तो ये बेसिस कोई ना कोई सबसेट रखेगा, और सभी जो सब बेसिस होते हैं उनके सेम नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट सेम होते हैं, तो इसलिए कोई सा भी सबसेट हो लीनियरली इंडिपेंडेंट, उनके नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट भी सेम होंगे, तो क्योंकि ये सबसेट है तो ऐसे हमेशा कम ही रहेंगे इसके नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट.
so you are using the result that every spanning set, every finite spanning set, let me say it in this way. So you are saying that since it's a spanning set, you can reduce it to a basis. This is what you are trying to say, right?
यस सर, इसका कोई एल सबसेट लेके वो क्योंकि स्पेनिंग भी हो रहा है और एल भी हो रहा है.
And you are saying that why it is true, because since it's a spanning set, so there
Yes.
would be at least some vector which can be written as a linear combination of other vectors.
Yes sir.
Okay, and then you will remove those vectors.
जो एलडी बना रहे हैं इसको वो रिमूव करते चले जाएंगे, उनको
वो रिमूव करते चले जाएंगे. And why this process should stop? So how would you start? Like, let's say I give you a set. How would you start with this? For this, so you have to start, sir. So you have explained a process. Yeah, like you have given me some idea that you remove those, and this is the idea. I agree. But when you write this, how would you write? So if I give you this set, let's say I've given you here this set. Yes.
सर हम लोग पहले एक स्टेटमेंट लिखेंगे सर कि अल्फा 1 W1 प्लस अल्फा 2 W2 डैश अल्फा एंड WN will be 0 where alpha up to alpha and not all 0.
How do you know that?
बिकॉज सर स्पैन दिया है तो ये सर LD भी हो सकता है और LI भी हो सकता है.
हाँ, so the first case is if suppose it is Li, if all of them are Li, then there won't exist such a alpha is, right? Non-zero alpha is.
यस सर, बट सर यहाँ पे स्पैन दिया है तो सर वो मैंडेटरी नहीं है कि वो LI होगा.
Right. So then, so you have to consider this also. So you have to, whatever you say,
Yes,
that you say for both the cases, right? Li and LD.
सर अगर ये वाला केस लेंगे कि LI होंगे सारे तो सर फिर सर किसी भी एलिमेंट को हम बाकी के लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशन से दिखा नहीं पाएंगे, तो वहां जितने भी एलिमेंट है सब लोग अपने किसी को भी दिखा नहीं पाएंगे, तो उतने ही एलिमेंट हो जाएंगे. देयर इज नो मोर देन एन एलिमेंट रिक्वायर.
So maybe I would say it like, let me like rephrase your argument. So you are saying that if suppose the given set S is Li, then since it is a spanning set, it is also Li, so it would become a basis. Now since you know that basis is a maximal linear independent set, so whatever linear independent set you take, it will have less number of elements.
Yes sir. Yes, sir.
That's what you are
Also,
saying. So
yes,
just a minute, just a minute. And there also you have to use this whatever I said here. You have to say, if suppose you have a maximal linear independent set and you have a linearly independent set, then cardinality of B should be less than equal to cardinality of B dash. This you have
yes,
to justify why. Then it is true.
yes, sir. थ्योरम यूज करनी पड़ेगी। और सर
This
अगर
is
एलडी भी हुआ
सर
सर दूसरे केस में, तो सर हम लोग को सर कोई एक एलिमेंट ऐसा ले सकते हैं, सपोज कर सकते हैं जिसको बाकी के लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशंस में लिख सकते हैं। तो सर
क्यों
फिर जब
ऐसा
तक
ऐसा व्हाट इज द गारंटी ऑफ सच एन एलिमेंट?
क्योंकि सर हम लोग ने दूसरा केस लिया है ना कि एलडी होगा, तो एलडी का मतलब
LD होगा, yes, no, LD होगा. So you say that because of this, whatever
Yes.
result we proved, the linearly dependence lemma, we just proved that, na? So that lemma says that if it's a linearly dependent set, then you can write an element as a linear combination of the others.
Yes, sir.
So because of that, then so you remove that vector, and then it
Yes,
won't
sir.
affect the span.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the remaining vectors will span the same, exactly the same set.
Yes,
Then
sir.
what?
सर ऐसे जब हम लोग सर ये प्रोसेस तब तक करते रहेंगे जब तक कि सारे हमारे जितने भी एलिमेंट है जिनको अदर के लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशन में लिख सकते हैं उनको रिमूव करेंगे। एट द एंड सर जो हमें वेक्टर मिलेगा वही सर एलआई होगा, क्योंकि वो मैक्सिमल होगा। उसके बाद एक भी हम हटा देंगे एलिमेंट तो वो स्पैन नहीं करेगा वी को।
ठीक है। And why this process should stop? So you are saying that one by one you will see, you will check this.
Yes.
But how many times? I mean, why this process should stop?
सर क्योंकि हमें मैक्सिमम एलआई वेक्टर चाहिए जो वी को स्पैन करे।
Yes, that is fine. But why this
सर इसको
process should stop?
कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन मेथड से आराम से कर सकते हैं।
No. So let her complete the
Sir.
argument. Let her complete.
So suppose-
Let her complete. Let just wait. Let her complete. So she is saying whatever you said is correct. Now you are saying that I'm asking why this process should stop. Then you say that okay, because there are only finitely many vectors in S. So after finitely many steps, this process should stop. At least or at most n steps. After at most n steps, this process should stop. Removing the vectors and making it linearly independent.
Yes, sir.
So then this way you can
at
say
most
this,
n minus 1.
Yeah. So what I'm saying that at most, so it's like after n steps, at least after n steps, it will stop this process. The nth step, you may not get anything, but this process will stop. After that, you don't have to check further. Now, what I'm saying is that this way you can say that this S contains a S can be reduced to a basis, or you can say that you can find a subset of S that forms a basis of V. Now, since you know that that subset will have less number of elements than S, or at
Yes,
least
sir.
you can say less than equal to, and basis is the maximal linearly independent set, and therefore any linearly independent set will have less than or not more than n elements. So this
Yes,
argument
sir.
is fine. Yeah, fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so some of you were giving some were trying to
Yes,
prove
sir.
it by
सर
contradiction.
यस सर, मान लेते हैं कोई भी एलआई सेट है वी का जो मोर देन एन एलिमेंट्स उसके पास है, सपोज एन से ज्यादा है, n+1 n+ कुछ भी है मतलब, और तब हम मानते हैं कि वो एच सबसेट बनाते हैं, एच जिसमें n+1 एलिमेंट है, एच सबसेट बना दिया मैंने n+1 एलिमेंट का जो कंटेन कर रहा है, मतलब एन से जब कोई भी मान लिया आर्बिट्री मान लिया एन से ज्यादा है, एच उसमें कंटेन करेगा, n+1 वेक्टर तो इसमें होंगे ना उसके सबसेट में। अब मान लिया कि एच में n+1 वेक्टर है और उसमें एच से हमने कोई भी एक वेक्टर उठा लिया और हमें पता है कि वो वी में तो बिलोंग करेगा ही, क्योंकि एच में जब इसमें बिलोंग कर रहा है एच सबसेट वी का है, तो और स्पैन इक्वल टू वी है, तो उस जो हमने जो वेक्टर उठाया है उसको हम एस के कॉम्बिनेशन में लिख सकते हैं।
राइट।
तो सपोज हमने कोई मान लो वीजे उठाया था मान लो, तो वीजे को हमने जब लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशन में लिखा है तो वीजे का जो कोएफिशिएंट होगा 1 होगा और सारे का जो होगा मतलब कुछ भी हो सकता है, मतलब कि एटलीस्ट 1 नॉन जीरो मिल गया मुझे। यहाँ से हम ये क्लेम कर पाएंगे कि एच हमारा एलडी हो गया, तो इसके सारे जितने भी सबसेट सुपर सेट होंगे वो भी एलडी हो जाएंगे, यानी कि कोई भी एलआई सेट एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करेगा इससे ज्यादा एलिमेंट का।
Yeah, so I understand what you are saying. So you just have to write it properly. So you can do it in many ways. One way, the one algorithmic way I can give you. This process may also like you can use it in a like in proving some other things also, or you can also use in like in a for practical purpose. For example, how to do this? You can say, so I'm just giving you the outline here again, because you already know all the ideas. So what I'm saying is that we have to prove m should be less than equal to n. So I will prove in, let's say, in an algorithmic way, in a step by step manner. So let's say in what I will do in step 1, I will add. So in step 1, I will add u1 to s. Okay, I will add this u1 to s at the. I will add this u1 at the beginning of this s. So and the new set I will call as s dash. So what is my s dash here? Just a minute. Just a minute. Why has this? Okay. So tap into this. All right. So what I was saying here, we can do it in a step by step manner. So in step 1, you add u1 to s and then call this set, let's say, s dash. So what is s dash? S dash is the same set as including this vector u1. So u1 at the beginning you add, and then your set w1 to wn. This is your s dash. Okay. Now since you know that this s is spanning set and you have added u1 to this s, then this set s dash is always linearly dependent. So this is always, s dash is always linearly dependent. Okay, so you think about why this is, because you have added this vector. This set s was already spanning the whole set. You have added one more vector, so definitely this s dash is linearly dependent. Now this implies that and this u1 is non-zero, because this L is linearly independent, so all these ui's are non-zero, so this u1 is non-zero. So using the linearly dependence lemma, you can say that there exists a wi for some i such that this set s dash, after removing this element wi, this also spans v. And let us call this new set again as s. Rename this s. Now this is my s. Okay. Now in step 2, what you will do? So is it okay now? This new set s here at this step, this also span the whole space v, because s dash were spanning because of the linearly dependence lemma. Now in the second step, you add u2 at the beginning and do the same thing. And then every time, whenever you are adding u2, whenever you are adding ui, you will have to remove one wi. Okay, and after like m steps here, you will see that there are two situations. If after m step there is no wi left to remove, then that would be a contradiction to the linearly dependence lemma. And therefore whenever you are adding this m to this set, you have to remove one. And so whenever you are adding these ui's to this set s, there has to be one wi to remove, because if you don't remove this there doesn't exist such a wi to remove at any step. That means that is a contradiction to linearly dependence lemma, and therefore this m has to be less than equal to n. So whenever you are adding one, you have to remove one wi because of the linearly dependence lemma, and therefore this m has to be less than equal to n. So you think about it, this is another way. This is a step-by-step process, but you have already given other arguments also. So whichever you find easy, you can use this. So you repeat the process here. Okay. So this is the idea. So in the, let me write this also. In step J, what you do in step J, you, so again you do the same thing. If what did I do here? You step J, you do add uj to s. So what would be your s dash now? S dash would be uj minus 1. So this is the jth step, u1, and then there would be these wi's. We don't know which one are left, but there would be these wi's. So again, this s dash is linearly dependent. So there has to be, so this implies that there exists some wk, let's say, such that when you remove this s dash minus wk is linearly, sorry, spans v. So after mth step, if there is no wi's to remove from s dash, then this would be a contradiction to linearly dependence lemma, and therefore this implies that m is less than equal to 1. So this way you can prove it in this way, or you can prove using the other argument also. This way you can also say that okay, every linearly independent set can be extended to a basis in a when you have a vector space that has a finite basis. So I will give some name to this base, this kind of vector space, and then we will prove these results. So let me first define what is a finite dimension vector space. So let V have a vector space V. So let V be a vector space over F. Okay. If V has a finite basis consisting of vectors x1 to xn, let's say, then V is called a finite dimensional vector space. Finite dimensional vector space. So I may also use this abbreviation, finite dimensional vector space. And this n is called, this number n, because we know that if V has a finite basis, that means containing n elements, then every basis has will have exactly n number of elements. So this n is unique for every such vector space, and therefore we give this n as a name. So this n is called the dimension of V. So n is called, this is n, these are x. So don't get confused in x and n. So n is called the dimension of V. Okay, and in this case we write dimension of V is equal to n. Okay, and if V is not finite dimensional, then it is called infinite dimensional. So if V is not of finite dimension, is not finite dimension, is not of finite dimension, then it is called infinite. So let me write this first. Infinite dimension vector space. Finite dimensional vector space. I may also use this abbreviation for this, infinite dimension vector space. Okay, or you can say in other words that if V has an infinite linearly independent subset of linearly independent subset, then V is called infinite dimension vector space. So these two things are equivalent. All right, so let me now state a few things. So as you said, just I want to make it very clear. Let me write this. So we have seen several things. So some, let's say, let me write some observation kind of thing. These may be seen as results. So you know that first I'm writing some statement, you give me some argument, and then we'll see the infinite dimension analog of that statement. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, all right. Okay, so every finite spanning set in a finite dimension vector space can be reduced. Some of these results we have already seen, but just let me write them again. Can be reduced to a basis of the vector space. So if we have a finite dimension vector space, okay, if we have a finite dimension vector space, then every finite spanning set can be reduced to a basis. Now, can you tell me why this is true?
कि इसका भी कोई एलआई सबसेट मिल जाएगा.
So the same way. So the
Yes, sir.
argument we just gave. So using the same. Now, can you tell me if I want to write similar thing for infinite dimension? Can I write this? I mean, what would be the infinite dimension analog of this statement? Or is it possible to write something like that? Or can we write a result of some of
Sir,
similar kind?
sir,
Yes.
Sir, finite
every
spanning set.
spanning set can be reduced into the basis of vector space.
Every
Spanning set can be reduced into the basis of vector space.
every spanning set can be reduced to a, but how would you reduce that? You are saying that every spanning set can be reduced to a basis, but you have to give me some logic. Why would be? Here I know because there are finitely many. We have an algorithm kind of thing we just saw. We can use that and. So
सर
what it
वी
would be?
कांट डू इन इनफाइनाइट डायमेंशनल बिकॉज सर हमें नहीं पता कि कितने वेक्टर्स रिड्यूस करने के बाद हमें वेक्टर बेसिस मिल पाएगा.
Yes, so that process won't work here. That I know. So because there are infinite, here we don't know because here we have infinitely many vectors, and we don't know where to stop that process. That remove one vector from the set, and so we don't have that process to use here. So, but what else we can use? We can say that if suppose we have a spanning set. So what would be the infinite dimension analog of this? We can say that every spanning set in a vector space can be reduced to a basis in the sense that in the following sense that, so what would be the infinite dimension version of this? So if V is infinite dimension vector space and S is a set such that span of S is V, is a spanning set, then you can say then there exists a basis, let's say B basis, such that B is subset of S. This way you can say. Now, is it okay? I mean, do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this way you can say whenever you are saying that okay, every spanning set can be reduced to a basis means you have to say that okay, this is what I mean. So in vaguely you can say that every spanning set can be reduced to a basis. Then somebody will ask how would you do that? Then you say that okay, this is what I mean, and you can use that result. Okay, so this is fine. If there is any doubt, you can ask. So let us move to the other result. So the same way. So we have what we did.
Sir.
Every spanning set can be reduced. Now on the next result, I'll say every linearly independent set can be extended to a basis. So let me write that first. So every linearly independent set in a finite dimensional vector space. So this is first I'm writing for finite dimension, because for finite dimension it is easy to see. We have a way to add or to remove vectors from the set, and that process will stop after finitely many steps. But here in finite dimension we don't have that way. So let me first write for the finite dimension, and then we'll see the infinite dimension. Yes.
सर बट सर बीटा का सर पता कैसे लगाएंगे कि वो बीटा होगा, मतलब कैसे, मतलब
So how? So that means you are asking why this is true. So
Yes, sir.
can somebody answer him?
Sir, we can prove this by Zorn's lemma. They will exist
The
the
same
maximum.
result. Yes. So you take L as a empty set, and then S is a spanning set given to you, which and L is a subset of this set S. So there exists a basis B such that L is subset of B, B is subset of S. Is it okay now?
Sir?
Yes.
आपको L containing S given था ना?
L is containing in S, so L is empty, no?
Okay, okay.
Every set empty set is containing S, right? Okay, so some of these argument you can discuss among yourself also, because I have a limited time. So let me move forward. So the second result is every linearly independent set in a finite dimension vector space can be extended to a basis. Now, how would you extend this? So can you tell me this, why this is true first for the finite dimension case? So tell me clearly that, okay, suppose that this is a linearly independent set, then how would you extend this to a basis? Can you give me some clear argument? Yes.
Sir, we will take the means we have a given linearly independent set. Then we are going to span that set. If we are going to get complete V, then it is a basis. If we have not got any element of V, then we will minus V minus that spanning set, and we will choose one that element. And after that again we will do the same process.
Yeah, you will choose that element, and then you will include that element in your independent set. That way you will increase it, and you will follow the same process again.
Yes,
this is
sir.
what you are saying, right? Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So what he's saying, so let me give you this idea again. This is again very straightforward thing, but because these are small thing, and you should be very clear how to do this. So what he's saying that since it is a finite dimension, so let's say n be the dimension of V. Since it's a finite dimension, okay, so idea, I'm giving you the idea of this proof, and you are given a linearly independent set, any linearly independent set. So let's say S be your linearly independent set containing m vectors. Okay, so clearly m is less than equal to n. So if m is equal to n, or you can say if span of S is equal to m, V. So if span of S is equal to V, then S is a basis, and you are done. There is nothing to prove. But if not, if span of S is not equal to V, then what you do? Then you do the following thing. So you do what you do. So if span of S is not equal to V, then what you do? You choose one vector V which is in V but not in span of S. There exists such a vector because these two sets are not equal. Then you include this set, this V, in the set S, and let's say you rename it. So the new set S is the S union V, and you call it again S, and you follow this process. So what you do repeat this for j equal to 1 to n. So after n step, you will get a set S that spans the whole space, and that is also linearly independent. So how now the only important thing here is that after including this vector V, this set S again is linearly independent. So that is the catch here. So this is again linearly independent. So why this is, you just verify that. So after n steps, so this process So after these n steps, you will get, so then new set S is a basis of V. So this you can verify. This is very easy. Now what would be the infinite dimension analog of this? Now you tell me the infinite dimension. So now if suppose V is infinite dimension vector space.
Sir, then process will continue if V is finite. Means if linearly independent set is finite, then the same process will be continued.
If it is infinite dimension, how would you continue this? When
Sir,
would you stop? So this process should stop somewhere, na? Otherwise this is not of practical use. How would you
sir,
say that, okay,
means
you keep on adding, this process should stop?
Sir, this process will stop after infinite times because, sir, after
But
adding,
after infinite times means what? This is not a logical thing to say that, na? After infinitely many steps you
yes, sir.
stop. What is that? Infinite means we don't know, have a control on that.
Yes, sir, because sir,
For-
it is infinite dimension, so sir, we don't know how many elements are going to be in basis.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that you tell me the infinite dimension analog of this statement. If you want to say similar thing for infinite dimension, this same way won't work.
Sir, as we prove above, we can say,
How?
sir,
So
sir,
what would you
if
say?
L be the Li set, infinite Li set, then there must exist a basis that L is a subset of
L is a
subset of B.
So for every natural number n, there will exist a linearly independent set of that order.
for every natural number n, there would be a linearly independent set of that order. So okay, so let me give you this as an exercise, and you tell me this in the next class, because I want to do something here. So you tell me what would be the infinite dimension analog. Okay, so let me write
Sir,
the
it would
exercise
depend
again.
on Zorn's lemma, right?
So you tell me this argument in the next class. Okay, so let me save some time here. So exercise is, what would be the infinite dimension analog of the above statement? Okay. The next is, so let me prove next as a result. So let W be a subset of a vector space V. So V is a vector space over F. Okay. Then there exists a subspace U of V such that V is equal to W plus U. W direct sum U. Moreover, if dimension of V is finite, so for that I'm using this way of writing. So dimension of V is less than infinite means it's a finite dimension. So if dimension of V is finite, then you can also write that you can also say that dimension of V is equal to dimension of W plus dimension of U. Now can you tell me how to prove this one? So first what you have to prove, we have to prove that V is the direct sum of W and U. How to do that?
First, we write the given conditions W the one, or we have to find such U subspace of V.
Hmm.
Then
Sir,
we have
W
to
should be
prove
proper subspace, na?
W should be
proper subspace, no?
No, there is
It
nothing
will,
to proper and improper because
so just just use whatever is given to you.
yes, sir.
Hmm.
Given W is a
Yeah,
subspace of vector space V,
so
and we have to find the U, subspace
yes.
of V. So uh, if we go through the basis, then there exists basis of W and also basis of V.
Hmm.
So basis of W is contained in basis of V.
Hmm.
So if we take मतलब linear combination, मतलब कि एक ऐसा भी बनाएंगे जिसमें वो सारे एलिमेंट्स होंगे जो W में नहीं है और V में है.
Okay.
और this set is called as a this set is tagged as a V set. U
Yeah.
set.
Okay. Fine.
Then we have to show कि V is sum of first we show V is sum of V W and U, and then we show V is sum of V is direct sum of U and W.
Exactly. So this is the idea. So yeah, you are correct. So what he is saying is the following, that what is given to us? Given to us is that W is a, so what is given to us? Given is that W is a subspace of V. So therefore we know that there exists, and let's say B, since it's a subspace, so let's say B tilde is a basis of W. Now we know that if W is a subspace and B tilde is a basis, we have already seen one result. This implies that there exists a basis B. So this implies there exists a basis B of V such that B is B tilde is a subset of V. Okay. Now what he's saying that let us call this new set B tilde, which is B minus this new set as B dash, which is equal to B minus B tilde. So that means you just take only those vectors which are there in B but not in B tilde and call this set as B dash. And that is, then he's saying that now you take the all linear combination of the elements of B dash. That means you take the span of B dash and call this set as U. This makes sense, right? Now we know that span of a set is always a subspace. So clearly U is a vector space. Since all the vectors are coming from V, so U is a subspace of V. So clearly this is a subspace of V. So now we have two vector space. One is W, one is U. Now the next thing is to prove that. So now you have to show that V is equal to W plus U. Now, how to show this? For this, you have to do two things. What you have to do? You have to show that V is a linear sum of W and U, and the intersection of W and U is just the zero vector. Okay. Now, can you do this? Can you finish this proof?
Sir, as you've taken B dash is equal to B minus B tilde. From there, it implies both things.
Both things. How would it imply?
Sir, since B tilde is means there is no any common element between B tilde.
Just a minute. See, in many cases, we realize that these things will happen. I mean, this is true. That's what we are trying to prove. We know that this is true, or somehow we have a feeling that this should be true. But we have to justify this thing by giving or by writing it properly. This is how you will do it. So you are saying this is very clear, but that clear thing may not be clear to others. So to make it clear to all, you just give proper argument. And what is the proper argument? If you want to say that this is the direct sum of W and U, you have to see two things. Just see those two things. So whatever argument you want to give, you just give in proving these two. So first thing, you have to show that V is equal to W plus U. So now in order to prove this, you just whatever argument you were giving, now you give your argument. And that's why this V is equal to W plus U. This way you say. And using some other argument, you also show that W intersection U is just 0 set. And that's how you can say that V is a direct sum of these two things. But if you just simply like feel like this is true, but if you're not able to write it properly, then like you won't get anything in the exam, because in exam I can only see what you write. Yes.
सर इंटरसेक्शन वाली बात सर हम लोग ऐसे देख सकते हैं कि सर W बन रहा है B टिल्डा से, और सर U बन रहा है B मतलब जो बेसिस है हमारा V का, उससे पूरे B टिल्डा को हटाने के बाद सर जब हम लोगों ने W जिससे फॉर्म होगा वो सारे वेक्टर्स हटा दिए B से, तो बचे हुए वेक्टर से हमने U लिया है। इसका मतलब सर U में कोई भी कॉमन एलिमेंट तो W का बचेगा ही नहीं, तो सर इंटरसेक्शन ऑटोमेटिकली
Yes, but this is the way you are saying that is not like it's mathematically it may not be you. It's not like clear, precise. You just use some. So if you want to say it in this way, then you say that okay, let us assume. So you are saying that that cannot be, there cannot exist any non-zero vector in this. This is what you are saying. So you say that okay, let us suppose there exists, and then whatever you are saying, that you say to get this contradiction. Okay. So always whenever you are answering anything in mathematics, you just say, okay, suppose this is true. If this is true, then this will happen and this will give you a contradiction. Something like this. So for example, let's say if you want to prove that, so I'm leaving this as an exercise, the first one. So because it's not that difficult. What you have to show? You have to show that these are two sets here. I don't have much time, so let me finish this result. So these are two sets. You have to show that these two sets are equal. You have to show both side containment. Now, one side containment here, W plus U is contained in V. That is very straightforward because both are subspace. Their sum is again a subspace. So it is there. So this sum is contained in V. Now you have to show the other side containment. That means V is a subset of W plus U. Now, since you have to show this, what you have to do, you take any vector in this vector space V, and then this vector can be written as a linear combination from the basis vectors B here, because B is a basis. Now you write this, some of these vectors are coming from B, some of these vectors are coming from B tilde, because B is the B tilde and B dash, because B is the union of these two, and therefore you can write that this vector as a sum of two vectors, where one is coming from W, one is coming from U. So that way you can write it. To show the other way, the second thing, that W intersection U is 0. So what you have to do, so let's do it in this way. Suppose that, so clearly again, these are two sets. So since W is a subspace, U is a subspace, you can verify that their intersection is again a subspace. 0 set, this is also a subspace. So 0 is always there. So you can say that 0 is always contained in this intersection. So one side containment is straightforward. So that means 0 is always contained in W intersection U, because both of them are subspace. So 0 vector would be there. You have to show now the other way, that W intersection U is contained in 0. What does that mean? It means that if you take any vector V in this intersection, you have to show that this vector is 0, is equal to 0. So assume that V is in this in this. If V is in the intersection, that means what? That means V is in W and V is in U. Now V is in W and we have a basis for W. What is the basis for W? Basis for W is B tilde, sorry. So let's say, so there exist, let's say, vectors W1 to Wk in W such that V is equal to alpha I Wi I equal to 1 to k, because V is in W. Similarly, there exists, let's say, U1 to UR in U, or not, yeah, in U. So maybe I can write it in this way, not in W, because we have a basis, so you can clearly say that this is in B tilde and this is in B dash, such that V is equal to summation Bi Ui I equal to 1 to R, where these alpha is and beta is, they are scalars. Now both of these this expression, this linear combination equal to V, so you can equate them, and this implies what? This implies that alpha I Wi minus beta I Ui equal to 0. I equal to 1 to k and I equal to 1 to R. Now what can you say from here? What can you say from here?
Alpha I beta equals to 0.
Why?
Sir, because Wi and Ui belongs to beta and beta is a basis.
Right. Because these Wi's and Ui's, they are linearly independent, and this implies that alpha is 0 and beta I is 0 for all I. So let's say beta j is 0, or I equal to 1 to k and j equal to 1 to R. Now this implies again that V is 0, and therefore W intersection U is just 0, and you are done. So you are done means you are done up to this. So you can say that V can be written as a direct sum of W and U. Now, if dimension of V is finite, that means if V is of finite dimension, then this is also very straightforward, right? I mean, the next thing here, this follows immediately, because B, in the proof itself, we can say that B is a basis of B. B is a union of B tilde and B dash. B tilde is a basis of W, and B dash is a basis of U. So dimension of V is equal to dimension of W plus dimension of U. So this is done here. Okay. So in the next class, I'll start with this corollary. So I have 2 minutes. So let me first finish this, so that in today's lecture we can finish these things here. So I gave you one exercise here. Where did I give? So what would be the infinite dimensional analog of this statement? That if every linearly independent set can be extended to a basis. Now do you want to give some argument here, so that we can finish this today's lecture in today's class itself? So new lecture, new class.
Consider L is Li set and S equal to V.
Yes.
Then
So you just use that John's lemma. So what he's saying, that every linearly independent set can be extended to a basis, means what? You take this L as linearly independent set and S as V itself, then you know by John's lemma then there exists a basis B, such that L is subset of B and B is subset of V. So what you can say from here, for infinite dimension, you can say that every linearly independent set can be extended to a basis. By that you mean that you can always find a basis B such that L is subset of B. So what it would be, you can say that, or this way you can write this statement. So in a vector space V, if you have a linearly independent set, then you can always extend it to a basis of V. For finite dimension, it is very clear. You can keep on adding the vectors unless it becomes a basis. For infinite dimension, you say that there exists a basis that contains this linearly independent set. Okay, so we stop here. So today we'll have a tutorial from 2 to 3, and I'll upload this recording and this PDF of today's lecture before the tutorial class. So if you have anything, you can ask. Yes.
Sir, can we have tutorial from 11 to 12 because sir 11 to 12 slot are free for us.
11 to 12 is free for you
Yes, sir.
on Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we can do that. 11 to 12 we can do. So let us announce this in today's tutorial class. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
let us have today's tutorial at 2 o'clock, but
Yes,
the
sir.
next tutorial we can shift to 11 to 12 if all of you agrees. Okay, so I'll ask
Yes, sir.
this in tutorial class, and then we can shift it to 11 to 12. I don't have any issue with that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, we
you,
can stop
sir.
here now. Yes, you're welcome.